Hey there, it's Stephen Gardner. I just finished one of the craziest interviews I've ever done, and I'm worried that it's going to get suppressed or taken down. So I'm going to ask a favor. Will you please give this video a like because it tells YouTube to spread it to other people? Will you also share this on Twitter and Facebook and other social media? We have to get this message out. And then please leave a comment down below. What do you think about this former Democrat's inside information and his thoughts on how to change America? Now sit back and enjoy. I think you're going to love this interview. This last video with Vince got over 750,000 views, almost 100,000 likes. He absolutely made my mind explode. He opened my eyes to many things, and we're going to go through even more today. Vince, thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Oh, man, it was a pleasure. We had a blast the last time. I'm going to try to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. So as of right now, I think you are the second highest video view with Tucker Carlson in the interview that you guys did. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Why do you think Tucker Carlson allowed you to come on and open the eyes of all of his viewers to some of the shenanigans of the Democrat Party?
Well, Tucker knows me very well, and Tucker knows I'm not going to do any shucking and jiving. I'm going to tell the truth, and I can back all my truth up with facts. I'm not one of these guys that's going to come out there with emotion and screaming and yelling and tap dancing. I'm going to tell you the truth. And the truth is very, very plain. The Democratic Party is perpetually the evilest organization in the history of the world. Right now, it's presently controlled by a cabal of perverts, liars, psychopaths, and anti-Christian bigots. It was part of slavery from 1860 to 1860, from 1800 to 1860, the part of the Confederacy from 1860 to 1865, the party of Jim Crow from 1865 to 1965. Now it's a part of Marxism, socialism, abortion up to the 9th month, transgenderism. All they do is meditate on blood. And when you go around the country and look at the places where they rule, it's all nothing but crime and poverty and homelessness. It's horrible. And I just tell it like it is. The Democratic Party is evil. We need to run them out. And I bring people's attention to the fact that they try to say they're the friend of the Black community. They're not. They've been the Black community's greatest enemy since their inception. They were Nazis 150 years before the Nazis were Nazis. They created racism, and they still live by it. So we have to wake people up. And when people hear the truth, it's amazing how they respond to it.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this, but Charlamagne De God said that he is having a hard time scaring the Black community into continuing to vote Democrat because it's gotten so bad under Joe Biden's administration. What are your thoughts on his comments?
Well, Charlamagne is hardcore Democrat, but see, it's hard to tell Black men to vote for a man that says, if you vote for me, I'm going to allow the federal government to use the public educational system to transition your son without your permission. Then I'm going to allow drag queens to go into public education and shake their behinds in your children's faces. I'm going to run the Bible out of schools, but I'm going to allow pornography into the school libraries. I'm going to run Jesus out of the schools, but I'm going to allow drag queens in the schools. I'm going to pass laws allowing demented men to go into the bathroom with your wife and your daughter. I'm going to pass a law to allow demented men to participate in sports with your daughter. You know, you might can get away with a lot of stuff, but when a Black man or a Hispanic man hears that you are going to do that to his children, it's not much you can do to turn him back to you. Yeah, absolutely. I want to hit on a big topic right now. Last week during an interview, it was pointed out that Democrats are heavily pushing for illegal immigrants to come into the country. It's disrupting many government systems and communities. Kids are being removed from school to make shelters. Veterans are being told, your medical needs need to be put on hold. We need to make room for illegals. The hospital systems in Denver, Colorado are on the verge of collapsing. They might need a government bailout because there are so many unpaid medical debts from illegal immigrants. Why on earth do the Democrats want to overrun the welfare systems, the school systems, the housing systems, the banking systems, all of the systems that hold the country together? Is this all about getting votes, or what's the real reasoning behind it? Yeah, man, it's a great replacement theory and it's a great reset. They're trying to crash the economy so they can turn it into a socialist communist economy. The only way they're going to do that is to crash it. And these people aren't that stupid. I mean, they can take a ledger and a balance sheet and they can look at it and they know what's going on. These guys went to Harvard, Yale, and Princeton. They're not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. This is the great replacement theory, and this happened before. Hitler didn't like how the Jews were acting, so he replaced them. See, the easiest thing for a government to do when they come to the conclusion that they've lost faith in their citizenry is to replace their citizenry. That's what tyrants do. They kill their own people, they replace them with others. This has happened throughout history. So this is just the same thing. It's just a variation on the thing. And the Democrats know exactly what they're doing. Joe Biden knows that 8 million illegals have come over since he's been president. He is willing to let Ukraine go down to make sure that the illegals keep coming in. So, you know, the Democratic Republicans have said, if you just close the border, we'll give you all the money you want for Ukraine. No, we want the illegals coming into America because we are going to replace those MAGA Republicans that we cannot control. He went up to Charleston, South Carolina, went into the pulpit of Muddy Emmanuel Church and said that MAGA Republicans were basically enemies of the state. A president of the United States of America stood up in front of this nation and said about 40% of the population were enemies of the state. They were unpatriotic, that they were racist, that they hated people. They were full of hate. They needed to be kicked out of the country. That's what he said. And so who's he going to replace these MAGA Republicans with that he hates so much? There you go. He's bringing them in. It's very simple. It's been done over and over again. That's their plan. And I hope the people of the United States of America wake up and understand that it's not just going to end with them. They're going to keep on doing it and keep on doing it until they get the population that they want. This is how it's supposed to go. The people are supposed to change the government. The government is not supposed to change its people.
Yeah. I read that the group of people most affected by illegal immigration is actually the Black community.
Yes.
And the Black community overwhelmingly votes 90% Democrat. And so you have a party that is purposely trying to bring in a replacement of another group, and it's that very group that keeps them in power. You know, Tucker Carlson, your friend Tucker, he gets blasted all the time for this replacement theory, but they always say it's about replacing white people. But the data seems to show that it's actually replacing the Black community, which we need the Black community. I love the Black community. So what are your thoughts on that as far as is there one demographic of people that is going to be hurt most by 8, 10, 15 million people coming in from other countries and overrunning the systems?
Well, they need to replace the Black community because they're killing all of them. You have so many Black men going to prison. You have so many Black children being aborted. You have so much crime in the street. You know, this population right now is becoming untainable. They've had 25 million abortions in the Black community since Roe v. Wade. There are 10,000 Black men basically getting murdered every year. If they're not getting murdered, they are going to jail. The community is in a dystopia, is in a dysfunction. But this is what they want. See, the one big problem that you have a party that needs the Black vote, but they also got to kill people. So they got a conundrum going on. They have to have their pound of flesh. They have to commit murder. They've always done that. They did it in the Civil War. They did it during slavery. They did it in Jim Crow, and they're doing it now. If they had a choice to allow people to be born and Black people live in prosperity, they prefer to kill them and keep them in poverty because this is how they keep their power. So because they have this bloodlust, but they have to commit murder, they also now have to replace the people that they killed. Since they have this terrible bloodlust and this anger where they have to lock people up and have to see people poor and destitute. Well, when people get poor and destitute, they die and they go to jail. They have to bring other people to take their place. This is the Democratic Party, and this is the conundrum that they're in. Right now, the American population is at a 1.6 birth rate. That means you have to have a 2.1 to replace yourself. We're at 1.6 right now. They know that. Nevertheless, Joe Biden just signed an executive order making abortion easier here in America. They are running on the fact that they are going to expand abortion, make it free. If your state won't allow abortion, they'll put you on an airplane, fly you to another state where you can have abortion. They are saying that we elect us so we can help you kill your children. That's the Democratic Party. This is how sick these people are. Even though they know that the country is dying, they still can't stop doing it. That's why I tell you they're psychotics. They're psychotics. They know what they've done to the Black community. They know about these Black men going to jail. But who set up the crime bill? Bill Clinton, Joe Biden. These people know this. These people know that abortion is destroying the American population. They know it, but they want to make it. They want to send out the abortion pill. They want to expand abortion up to the 9th month. They want to make it legal. They want to give you a bus ticket or a plane ticket to go get them abortion if your state won't allow it. They know what they're doing. But when you have a psychotic, they can't stop. And if you don't think they're all psychotics, I'd like to throw you back to the old Soviet Union when they had Stalin there, and he had a group of psychotics around him. The Nazis, when they had a group of psychotics around them. Hitler, Goebbels, all of them. They was crazy as hell. Castro, who did he get? A bunch of psychotics. Just killing people all over Cuba. Mao Zedong, what did Mao get? A bunch of psychotics. Just going around China, blowing people's brains out. Whenever these dead Indo-communists get power, they surround themselves with psychotics that have to kill the people that they say they represent. And that's the Democrat Party.
Holy, wow. We got to open people's eyes. You know, I think people's eyes are being opened. I read yesterday that only 27% of Americans identify as Democrat now. That's the lowest it's been since the party's inception. What would you say are the key areas that maybe people are like, I don't know if I want to be associated with this brand anymore? Is it just the leaders that continue to be elected on a national scale? Is it the social safety net programs that look kind on paper but are actually dragging people down? Just your 2 cents on why that identification with that party is so low.
Well, back during the civil rights movement, when a bunch of Southern governors asked LBJ, man, why are you pushing all this civil rights legislation? What's wrong with you, Lyndon? You know, we don't need that kind of stuff. LBJ said the N-words are getting uppity, and we got to give them a little something to calm them down. Not much. Nothing's going to make a difference. But I'm going to have these N-words, and you didn't say N-word, I'm going to have these N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. His plan was just to make sure that Black people voted for the Democratic Party. And for a long time, they hid what they were doing. People didn't have the internet. They didn't have the iPhones where they could see stuff. So when you said the Democratic Party was a part of abortion, people say, no, they're not. When you say the Democratic Party is part of the LGBTQ, no, they're not. When you say they were an anti-Christian party, they could always lie because the Black preacher, the Black politician, and the Black civil rights worker was coming down to the Black community and telling them, no, these evil, rich, white Republicans are lying, and the Black people will tell you there's a bunch of Uncle Toms, don't listen to them, listen to us. They're going to give you free stuff. They're going to give you food stamps. They're going to give you housing vouchers. They're going to protect you from all these rich white racists. So vote Democrat. Well, now we have an invention called the iPhone. We have X. We have the internet. And we've shown people now that the Democratic Party are a bunch of liars. And people can't run from it anymore. The mask is off. They are seeing that the Democratic Party wants to transition children. See, you can get away with a lot of stuff. But when you start messing with a man's child, you got a problem. When you are so stupid and so reprobate in your mind that you don't know what a woman is, Ketanji Brown Jackson stood up there and they said, what is a woman? She said, I don't know, I'm not a biologist. When you can sit up there with a straight face and say that my pronouns are she and it and they, that I can tell you today that I'm a woman, and then I got to tell you, you got to respect that, or I'm going to see that you lose your job. See, people are seeing in real time that the Democratic Party is insane, and they can't go no farther with them. See, they used to lie about this stuff. I tell people this 10, 20 years ago, they say, Miss, you crazy, you lost your mind. Now I can put on my iPhone and I can say, hey man, Obamacare will give you a transgender operation, sex change surgery, free of charge to pay for your hormones for the rest of your life. Are you lying? Pull it up, there it is. Hey man, Joe Biden supports having grown men compete against little girls in sports. Oh, you're crazy. There it is. Hey, man, they support having grown men go to the bathroom with your wife and daughter. Oh, you crazy. There it is. See, they will transition your child because these parents up in Michigan now are suing the public education system because they were transitioning their child without their permission. They know nothing about it.
Oh.
On the 25th of January, the state of Maine is going to vote to allow Maine to be a sanctuary state for children that want to transition without their parents' permission. They're getting ready to vote on it. Yeah. And when you see this, and when you see the illegals coming in, and when you see all the death and the snatch and grab, people are starting to say, I can't go no further with it. This party is insane. It's being led by is an insane asylum. When they see Joe Biden's freak show of a cabinet, men walking around in dresses, Buttigieg walking around with his ugly husband, all of these guys walking around with lipstick and high heels on, bald heads. You know, his press secretary gets up there and says, I am a black female lesbian, and I'm happy to be here. And you look at this, I mean, this is a freak show. These people are crazy. They're an insane asylum that is running the government of the United States of America. And we're getting ready to kick their behinds out.
Yeah. You probably saw this, but during the presidential campaigns and the debates specifically in 2020, Senator Kamala Harris at the time inferred on national television that Joe Biden was a creepy person and a loser. He was a creepy white man and a loser. And then he asks her to be vice president, and she's like, oh yeah, sweep that under the rug. We do not talk about that anymore. Why would somebody go from saying you're a creepy white child sniffing weirdo loser to absolutely, Joe, we did it, Joe. We want to be on your team. What is
everybody knows that Kamala Harris has no scruples. I mean, she was a Willie Brown side piece in San Francisco for like 10 years. He was married. She walked around on his arm. She would do anything for promotion. The only way she got the job is, she dropped out of the race right before any of the primaries. So what did she do? When Joe Biden won, she did a shakedown on him. She got 100 black men to write him a letter. She got P. Diddy, Akon, Snoop Dogg, Dre, a bunch of powerful black men to write Joe Biden a letter telling Joe Biden he better choose a black woman for his VP or they were going to withdraw all support from him. Joe Biden wasn't thinking about Kamala Harris, but when you got Snoop and Dre and all those gangsters telling you better choose somebody, you better choose them because they might do a hit on you, right? So that's how Kamala got the job, not based on her merit. She shook Joe Biden down. She told him that she had a whole black community turn on him if he didn't make her vice president. She doesn't know what she's doing. Kamala Harris doesn't have good sense, man. She'll do anything for power. That's what everybody knows in D.C. She ran around with no good Willie Brown when Willie Brown was running San Francisco. Because she was his side piece. She got him involved in politics and got her and made her, I think, Attorney General, and then she became U.S. Senator, so on and so forth. But you can sit down with Kamala Harris, and after 2 minutes, you understand she has about as much sense being a vice president of the United States of America as I have being on the moon.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I didn't know that about the letter.
Oh, yeah, man. She shook Joe Biden down. She put a .38 revolver to his head.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I mean, the only one that she didn't get was Ice Cube, right? Remember, Ice Cube was like,
she didn't get Ice. Ice Cube don't want to be no part of that kind of stuff. Ice Cube kind of got, Ice Cube was grown up.
Yeah, he was like, I don't think I want this experimental shot. And also, I think I might want Donald Trump. And they turned on him.
Mm-hmm. Of course, yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
He couldn't even get Disney movie parts. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you got to be a man to stand up to them. They've been jumping on me for the last 20 years. I enjoy it. I just deflected. They can't touch me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Speaking of powerful black men, Herman Cain, a prominent businessman and someone who ran for president of the United States, said in a Time magazine interview that Planned Parenthood was specifically created to help control the human population and eradicate the black race.
Yeah.
Why would Herman Cain, a proud African American, why would he say that? Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, Margaret Sanger, who started Planned Parenthood, had a little side thing she was doing. She called it the Negro Project. She called black people human weeds, and she had this little saying that said, "More for the fit, less for the unfit." And her plan was to eradicate the black community here in the United States of America. And so she got the black preacher to help her set up abortion clinics inside the black neighborhoods, and then paid him to tell black women when they got pregnant to go and get an abortion. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you something's going to shock you. The first recipient of the Margaret Sanger Award was Martin Luther King Jr. in 1966, because he was all involved in it also. King, all of those guys were just a bunch of apostate preachers who were out there doing the bid of the white liberal establishment, and they're still doing it right now. Their job, they preach this social gospel. And the social gospel is not the gospel of Jesus Christ. The social gospel is the gospel of brotherhood, equality, government dependency, where the gospel of Jesus Christ is born of a virgin, repentance. We believe in the resurrection. We believe in the deity, and we believe in his second coming. You never heard Martin Luther King Jr. talk about that. He preached the gospel of envy instead of admiration. He preached the gospel of revenge as opposed to forgiveness and forbearance. He preached the gospel of pity as opposed to the gospel of strength. And he led black people down the primrose path, where he said, if you want something, instead of calling on God for it, call on the government. And this is why we're at the bottom of every socioeconomic statistic in America. Between 1940 and 1960, before the Civil Rights Movement, the black community, we shrank our poverty rate from 80% to 30%. It was the greatest reduction in the history of the world. After 1968, we flatlined. We haven't done any good since, because we started becoming victims. We started complaining. And it's against our Christian ethic, because instead of our Bible, Cain was angry with his brother Abel, because God had accepted Abel's offering, but had rejected Cain's. And God came to his grandson, Cain, and said, Cain, why are you angry? And he gave him an insight into how he had the human mind wired up to help Cain to get over his anger. He said, Cain, why are you angry? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if not, sin waits at the door to master you, but you must master it. If you do well, will you not be accepted? It is a human concept that when Joe Louis went in 1930, 1940, and 1941 and knocked out Max Schmeling, the whole country, even though he was a black man, celebrated. It was human that when Jackie Robinson came in, and at first they just liked him because he's a black man coming to the majors. Now nobody in baseball can even wear his number because he did well. It was human that when Ali came out, everybody just liked him. He was a black Muslim. He was talking about white folks was the devil, but by the end of his life, he had done so well that everybody called him the greatest. He threw his gold medal away. They gave him another. He got the president of the United States of America gave him a medal, and he visited the White House. Why? He had done well. But they want to tell black people a lie, that you can do well in America and you still won't be accepted. That is a lie. That is the social gospel, a gospel of envy, a gospel of anger, a gospel of marching and fighting and hell raising, as opposed to saying, look, like my father told me, do well, keep your word, be a good man. Don't worry about how they view you. You worry about how God views you and how you view yourself. If they don't like you, that's their problem. But if they put your hands on you, they're going to have another one. Stand up and be a man, and don't be worried about how these people view you. Get yourself a 38 and you use logic for the wise man, and you use a gun for the fool.
That's good advice. You said something about Planned Parenthood having a human rights award. Like they award I just find it kind of ironic that a group that specializes in snuffing out human life before it can take its first breath gives out awards.
Yeah, they gave the
human
Marxism
life.
award. They gave it to King. King was the first one, and Hillary Clinton got it also. The Margaret Sanger Award. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That is just pure irony to me. Like, wow.
Well, these people are proud of killing people. This is what they do. I mean, you and I look at 65 million babies, and we say, oh my God, that's horrible. They look at 65 million babies and they say, good. See, these people run. They're going to run their whole campaign on abortion. They celebrate it. They like it. They pay you for it. These people are sick. They have changed the whole American concept to abortion at one time being something that no woman wanted to do. And of course, no woman wants an abortion and no child wants to be aborted. But now they have t-shirts say, I love abortion, shout your abortion, be proud of your abortion. See, this is where I stand. If people want to make abortion illegal, that's laudable. But I don't try to make abortion illegal. I want to make it unthinkable. We want to build an America where when a woman gets pregnant, she wants to have the child, where she wants to get married, where we want to help her get married. We wanted to go back to where our mothers were, where the only time you would consider having an abortion is something was horribly wrong. But now they've turned it into birth control, and it's harming so many young people. It's harming so many young people. There are women that are getting abortions now at early ages and never have children again. There are women that they tear up their insides. There are women that get abortions now, they're sterilized. There are women that get abortions now and they are depressed for the rest of their lives and they live in condemnation because they come to the conclusion that they have killed their child. These people don't care about that. All they do is meditate on blood. And then we find that they were using the fetuses, the aborted fetuses, to make some of the COVID vaccines. And a lot of people were saying, I'm not going to get this vaccine because it used aborted fetuses to make it. And you had the government forcing these people to go against their consciences to take a vaccine that was made out of aborted fetuses. So all your viewers can look this up. Look up whether or not some of the COVID vaccines were made from aborted fetuses, and you're going to be surprised.
Yeah. Wow. Oof. Okay. Final question. I appreciate you coming on. So the two biggest mayors that are dealing with the illegal immigrant situation are Johnson in Chicago and Adams in New York, right? It started off as, oh, hey, we're this sanctuary city. Of course we'll step up. Then it was like, okay, whoa, this is starting to get really hard. Joe Biden, you need to do something about this, right? Hello, Democrat Party, you need to do something about this. This is really bad. And now all they do is they say, this is the Republicans' fault that there's too many illegals. This is the Republicans' fault that our sanctuary cities are being overrun. And it's the Republicans that need to fix this. Specifically, Greg Abbott is an evil human who is making your life harder. Why do you think they shifted that blame over to the Republicans? Do you think that they were specifically told, quit complaining about your own party or we'll throw you out of office? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Oh man, it is a knee-jerk reaction to these guys. It's a knee-jerk reaction. Everything is the fault of the Republican Party. They will never take responsibility. That's part of being a coward, and it's part of being a Democrat. Look, I want your viewers to go. I have a new show that started. It's called the Vince Ellison Show. It's a podcast. We're going to talk about these things just like you do, man. I want y'all to buy my documentary, Will You Go to Hell for Me? And I talk about these people and what they do and how they want to take Christian folk and have them vote for their terrible policies, and doing this will send your soul to hell. These guys know exactly what they're doing. They've been told to deflect. They've been told to shut up. They've been told to sit back and bear it. Let these illegals come into your cities. Let these illegals come in. We'll find a way to make it work, because this is the great replacement. We don't want your people getting angry at us and kicking us out. because this is how we're going to keep power. And I guarantee you, if y'all just toe the line, do what we tell you, we're going to slide a little money to you. We're going to keep you in power. We're going to make sure you're happy. We're going to stuff the ballots for you, okay? We're going to make sure that you guys stay exactly where you are. Look, when they started complaining, they did it because they had a plan. They said, okay, we're going to complain for a little while, and then they're going to offer us something to shut up, whether it be some money for our campaigns, whether it be a job for my wife, whether it be something for my PAC. They're going to give me something to toe the line and be quiet and deflect this on the Republican Party. And that's what they doing, man. They are all company men. They care nothing about their cities. If they cared anything about their cities, they wouldn't be trying to defund the police. If they cared anything about their cities, they wouldn't be allowing these snatch and grabs. If they cared anything about their cities, they wouldn't allow these people to sell dope on the corners and would fight against school choice so these people can't learn to read or write or have a job. They get elected because these cities are dysfunctional. They get elected. See, they want to have these Hispanics come in because they want to tell Black people, we don't want you to work. We want to give you something for free so you can sit in the house all day long, watch Jerry Springer, smoke blunts, drink 40s, and do nothing but vote for us. But somebody's got to do the work, right? So you bring in the illegals, and they do the actual work. But they don't want Black people working because if you ever find out you can make some money, and you're going to start looking at your taxes, you're going to start looking at what they withhold, and you're going to turn away from the Democratic Party, and you're going to start voting for the Republican Party. So no. The last thing they want is a population that's going to be employed. They want you on the street hustling. They want your children in these terrible schools. They want the Black family broken up. They want the mayhem and the fear and the poverty on the streets. That's how they win. Go to Detroit. Go to Chicago. Go to Memphis. Go to Portland. Go to Seattle. Go anywhere they rule. You're going to find this type of chaos. It's the Democrat Party. So as far as them trying to get these illegals out, never. They're happy for it. They want to act like they're mad. They're not mad. They're not mad. They want as many as they can get because they intend to turn them into voters one day. And until they turn them into voters, they're going to use them as slaves. I've heard them call them the new N-words. We're going to work them like we used to work those N-words back in the day. That's the Democratic Party, the evilest institution in the history of the world. A tree is known by the fruit it bears. And if you look at the fruit of the Democratic Party, they are rotten to the core.
Oof. Wow. This has been really, really insightful. Hey, really quickly, I couldn't help but notice behind you, 25 Lies and Will You Go to Hell for Me? What are those? And can I let people know about them?
Yes. 25 Lies was my second book. It was a bestseller. Okay. Will You Go to Hell for Me is my great documentary. You should look at the trailer at willyougotofellforme.com. It just explores the question that the Democratic Party being so evil, a party that wants to castrate little boys, call them little girls, abortion up to the 9th month, running God out of the public square. If you are a Christian and you vote for these things, the Democratic Party is asking you to go to hell for them. Because what is evil? I'll make it easy for you. Evil is anyone that harms a child. Because Jesus Christ said, if anyone harms one of these little ones, it's better that a millstone be tied around his neck and he be thrown into the sea. Well, I hope these Democrats can swim because they're the ones that's harming these little ones with abortion, transitioning them in public education, sending drag queens in the schools to shake their behinds in their children's faces, screwing their minds up, destroying their families. So yes, my documentary asks the question, do you want to go to hell for the Democrat Party? Because if you vote for them, you're putting your soul at jeopardy. You're putting your soul at hazard, and you're going to end up in front of God, and you're going to have to answer for what you've done.
Wow. Okay. Well, this has been really insightful. Vince Ellison, I'm going to put a link to Crime Inc., to 25 Lies, to Will You Go to Hell for Me. Thank you so much for coming on. I can see why Tucker Carlson loves talking to you, why you guys are friends. You are just bringing the truth with some sizzle, and I really appreciate you coming on. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Stephen, thank you so very much, and thank you for the opportunity. You have a great audience. You have an expansive audience. You're doing great things, man. Thank you for what you do. Thank you.